Well, hello there. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the modding repository for Venge.io that allows you to create Venge mods without having to go into your file explorer on Windows or Mac and mess around with a bunch of files in there, because that's takes a lot longer. It can take you a lot longer to make mods by that. So I'm going to show you how this site works, and you can access this site from my main page here, which has a bunch of other stuff that I'll make videos on. But we're going to go to this modding repository button here. And when you load up the page, you'll see that there are all of the assets for the game and just a big long list here. There's, the scroll bar is really small. You can see all these assets here. And so there's a lot of different things you can do. If you want to have all these files downloaded to a zip folder with a structure that the game will recognize as a modding folder, all you have to do is click download all as zip and click client export, and then we just do this real quick. I click client export and it'll take a minute to load, and it'll show you this loading screen here with which assets are being currently loaded into the memory. And then it'll just take a second here and it'll download it into a zip for you. Alright, now that window's gone, and you're going to see up here it says preparing zip. So just wait for the page to be done, and then it should give you a zip file in just a little bit here. And should just download it for you. And you can, yeah, there you go. Now you can look for it in your downloads folder. So this here contains all of the assets from this page, unedited and just ready to use for your mod or whatever you want to do. Let's go here and oh. So let's extract this and give it a second there. Alright, so now we have our folder extracted. We can delete the zip file, and then we can go into our new extracted folder here, and we'll see a folder called Venge Client. So pretty much all you have to do now is just take this Venge Client folder. We're going to copy it with Control-C, open up a new tab, go to your documents, and make sure that you're not in OneDrive. Go back to your local drive here and go to your actual documents folder. See, now we're not in OneDrive anymore. And then you see, I already have one here, but you're gonna go to your documents folder and then just paste the Venge Client folder right here into your documents from your export folder here. And once you wait for that to be done, then you can edit the files inside of it. Awesome. So this is an unedited download of all the assets for Venge.io, and it's all structured in a way that the game will recognize. And you can go in here and change lots of different stuff. Each folder has a structure, and I covered this structure of the folder in the last video I made about modding, but this is just a easy way to start that. So I'm going to go here and delete this folder because we don't need that anymore. So if you want to have all the assets from this site just unedited for you to edit in File Explorer because you don't want to use the website, that's totally fine. Just click download all as zip and then click client export or browser export. The browser export I won't really go over in detail, but it downloads it in such a way that you can go to your files and then drag and drop the folder that contains all the files into your browser, and it will load the mod as an extension, and it'll work in browser too. So that's really cool. You can mod browser now, which has been something that people have been struggling with in the past, so that should be helpful. Now the main attraction I'd say for this site is that you can actually make the mod on the site now. So what you can do is use the search bar to search for different assets, images here, and you can start with selecting them. So select assets, and then let's select this one and this one, all of these here. And so now we have 7 assets selected. So what you can do now is edit selected assets, and you can do basically 3 things here. You can modify the original texture by changing its saturation. So there's a slider here. Or you can create a new color that will replace that texture, and you select the resolution of that texture. And then you can have there's a little color picker. It might look different if you're like on a different operating system, that kind of thing. Or you can upload a image file to use as a texture. So let's just use this one for fun. So now we've uploaded that one here, and since we had those 7 asset textures selected, now we can click apply uploaded texture, and it will apply the texture that we've uploaded here to all of those textures. And you can see it update in real time here with a little bit of a little window that shows you what happened. So now these have been modified, and you can keep going. So we're going to hit clear search, and if you want to check on your textures, like, it doesn't go away, so you want to search wall again. They're still here, they're still modified, and when a card has been modified, it turns white. So that's just an easy way to see that, you know, you've modified something. So let's just create a quick mod here, floor, select assets here, and I'm just going to turn a bunch of things cyan. So let's search for ground and get this one. And let's search for grass. You get this one. And pillar. Let's get all of these. And let's search for hallway. And grab that one. And then we'll search through default. Actually, no, we're going to skip default. Okay, so now we have basically all of the fundamental Sierra textures selected. Ready for change. Oh, actually, we're missing something. Desert. Need these. These, just so you know, these weird looking textures with like rainbow gradients here, these are the buildings that back the walls in Sierra in Marketplace. So you definitely want to change these. And there's also a snake version for, what's it called? Missile. So don't forget to change those too if you want to change missile. So now we can do that. And let's change the sky. So we have fatty sky. I don't know why it's called that, by the way. If any devs are watching this, like, why did you name your skybox textures fatty sky? Who does that? Anyway, so just select these textures here, which I'll speed it up for you. There we go. Now they're all selected. So now we have 70 assets selected. And we can click edit selected assets, and we're just gonna make this cyan like I said. So let's choose this one, click OK, and then we can choose a resolution for this. 512 is a little bit high since we're making everything one color, so I'd say just go for like 128 and 128 again. So this is a square texture, and then just create new textures. It's going to give you that list of all the textures being modified. And there you go. Now all these textures are that color at that resolution. So we've been doing a lot of multi-asset editing in bulk, where all our assets are being edited all at the same time. But you can also go individually into a texture and change it. So let's say we have the bounce pad here. I'm going to go click on edit asset. And currently I don't have an option to upload an image for just a single texture. That's going to be coming in a later version. But I did implement it basically so you can just go up here, search, bounce, and then just click select, only select one, then edit, and then you can upload a picture here. So let's just choose something for a bounce pad like this, just for kicks. There we go. And we'll leave this one. So now that you have changed a lot of the textures, if you're happy with your mod, you can download all as zip. And what this does is it takes all of the edited assets that you've made, like our fatty sky and our wall, and it replaces the originals with our updated versions and gives you the mod. One thing that you should be aware of is that it does take a decent amount of memory, so you need to be careful when using that because this website does need to load everything into memory for the compression process to start for the download process. So just be careful of that. But some other important things to know about this site are that you can actually play the audio files here. So if you click on the play button, there we go. It'll play the audio for the actual MP3 file. You can search MP3, and you got a whole bunch of different things here. And you can download it individually, and you can copy the folder number for modding if you're doing it manually. And then if you make a really large mod, so here's another important thing to note for making mods. Let's say you've spent a lot of time replacing your sky, you've replaced your walls, and it takes time to make a mod. Even on here, it doesn't, even though it doesn't take days like it would in File Explorer, it still takes time to make a mod in here, and you don't want to lose that progress. So what you can actually do is, with the changes we've made so far, you can click on Export Changes here, and what it will do is take all of the modified assets that you have changed in all of the cards, and when you click on it, it will download a JSON file that is basically, it looks like this. Let me pull this over here. This is encoded in base64, so it takes the modified asset that you have and encodes the image in base64 and stores it so that when you want to reopen this session later, like you were working on a mod and you want to take a break from it and close the page, you can actually import this again. So I haven't downloaded this mod that we've made yet, and so I'm going to risk losing it by just closing the page. And then I'm going to open Zen again, and we're going to go back over here, and we see if it's, nope, yeah, so we've lost all that. So what we can do now is click on Import Changes, and click on our JSON file, click Open, and it will import that JSON file, read all of those, all of that base64, and convert that base64 into all the images we updated, and now we have our session back. So it allows you to, it's basically a save file for your mod, which is really cool for the website because it means you can make, ginormous mods. So I'm gonna change one more thing here. So I'm gonna get rid of all the icons. There we go. Now I have 108 icons are selected. I'm just gonna go here, edit selected assets, browse, and I'm gonna select my transparent texture here. Awesome. Apply uploaded texture. All right, now all of these icons are just alpha versions of it, except this one. This one's broken for some reason. They're just transparent textures now, so we won't see those. So now what we can do is I'm going to just export this one more time just for a save, and then we can click on our download all as zip. So we're going to click client export because I'm pretty sure that most of the people watching this will be client. I will do a browser after this. We'll click on client export, and we're going to wait for it to process. There we go, loading textures in memory. All right, and it's preparing our zip file, which is good. We've got all of our, you can see some of our assets have been selected here, which is good. It means our site is still working. Preparing zip still. Let's see if this finishes soon. There we go. Now it's done. You can see it right here. So now we're just going to go open our File Explorer, and we're going to downloads. And let's just go in here and get rid of this old one for the other one real quick. I just have a bunch of other files named the same thing, so I'm creating my own space here. So let's export this. Extract. Perfect. Awesome. Now that's done. Let's delete the zip file because we don't need that anymore. Then we can go here, take our Avenge client folder. I'm going to copy that. Go to our documents. Here. And okay, good. We don't have another one, so we can just copy it right in here. Okay, awesome. That's done copying there. So now what we're going to do is just open the game. And also I forgot, but I misclicked the texture here, so the pillar texture is there, and I also did the same thing for the ground. I just accidentally forgot to select these, so they won't show up in the mod. That's okay. It's just here for... So wait for the game to load up. I'm just going to go into a private lobby here. Ah, there we go. The game has been modded. So it looks ugly because, you know, this was just for demonstrative purposes. And, you know, like I said, I forgot to click on these. But the game has been modded now, so it's just a really fast way to make a mod, and you don't have to do any in File Explorer editing. You can just, you know, hang out on the website and, you know, make mods that way. And it allows you to have a lot of control over what you want to do, especially since when you're on the website, if you go in here and you're like, I don't like the way, you know, maybe the wall texture looks, just select them again, like this, and just upload something new. Like, just choose something random. You can literally change it that fast. Because if you were doing it in File Explorer, you'd have to go through, like, all of these. Let me show you. Let me show how many files there are. Oh, that's the one. Let me show you how many files there are. Let's go to Eros's mod. This is a really good mod, by the way. You should check this out. He did a really good job with this. Look at how many of these are. You would have to go through all these folders and replace all of them. Or you could go here and just search wall, you know, and find them that way. But you have to individually go into here and find all of them. So it's a real big time saver here. And it allows you to just get so much more done so much faster. So I hope that was helpful and, you know, inspires you to make more mods. I know me personally, it has allowed me to make so many more mods. I have an entire folder of mods I've just made using this website, and they all took me around like 10 minutes just because it's so fast. So yeah, I hope that was enjoyable and you're able to make a mod now. If you have any questions, just DM me on Discord. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching this video so much, and I will see you next time.